Our witnesses on panel 2, first, Mr. Chris Crane currently serves as the president of the National Immigration and Customs Enforcement Council 118, American Federation of Government Employees. He has worked as an immigration enforcement agent for the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, as known as ICE, at the Department of Homeland Security since the year 2003. In his capacity as an immigration enforcement officer, he's worked in the criminal alien program for approximately 5 years and has also served as a member of the ICE Fugitive Operations Team. Prior to his service at ICE, Mr. Crane served for 11 years in the United States Marine Corps.
When I last testified before this subcommittee on July 25, 2011, I reported, among other things, that ICE enforcement and removal officers and agents in the field alleged that unwritten directives from ICE headquarters had been issued nationwide ordering officers not to arrest aliens unless it was confirmed that the alien had received a prior conviction for a criminal offense. Aliens who could not be arrested included, but were not limited to, ICE fugitives who had been ordered deported by a federal immigration judge, as well as aliens who had illegally re-entered the United States after deportation, a federal felony. ICE officers and agents also alleged that they were not permitted to arrest or even speak to confirmed or suspected illegal aliens encountered in the field during operations, and were prohibited from running standard criminal records checks for wants and warrants. First, I would like to thank Chairman Smith and his staff for working with the union regarding this matter after the July 25th hearing. Chairman Smith provided us with the opportunity to bring officers forward as witnesses. We were also able to turn over several internal ICE documents which appear to not only verify that these activities did in fact take place, but also name several senior-level ICE managers allegedly involved in issuing the directives nationwide. Second, I would like to address the impact and effectiveness of these types of orders. I have never heard of any law enforcement agency in the nation that prohibits its officers from even speaking to or interviewing individuals who are inside a house in which the officers are attempting to effect an arrest. From a law enforcement standpoint, what could be the possible benefit? The only purpose of an order such as this is to prevent officers from making arrests, which ICE leadership has allegedly stated is its goal. However, these directives not only prevent the arrest of non-criminal aliens, but also prevent the identification and arrest of very dangerous criminals, potentially individuals involved in terrorist activities. If not, it not only prevents officers from talking to and arresting persons who may be wanted for crimes, but also individuals who are being victimized and in need of assistance. Certainly, anyone can see that these practices are contrary to effective law enforcement practice and place the public at risk. Many officers will tell you that the majority of their best arrests, the arrests that most benefit public safety, come from unintended encounters with criminal aliens in the course of looking for a different target in the field. Of course, these practices also place our officers at risk. Nothing that I could ever say here today can capture the dynamics as they unfold when a door opens and our officers enter a house that they have never been in before. It's dangerous. Officers don't know who is in the house or what they are capable of doing. Problems often arise that require officers to remain in a house for extended periods. Officers on the scene must have the ability to provide for their own safety. They should never be prohibited from talking to people at the scene, conducting interviews as needed, running appropriate background checks, or even making additional arrests. In terms of better utilizing limited resources, these types of practices clearly do not achieve that goal. As discussed earlier, arrest numbers for serious offenders will fall well below the potential, as ICE prohibitions on speaking to aliens or running criminal records checks in the field will prevent the identification and arrest of many of the most serious offenders. Ordering officers to walk away from and not arrest ICE fugitives and prior deports who have been located in the field is obviously a blatant waste of officer resources and undermines ICE's mission to enforce warrants of deportation and the nation's immigration laws. In conclusion, the inability of ICE officers and agents to perform their duties reaches far beyond the officer allegations that I have cited today. During the last 3 years, ICE officers and agents described what many call a roller coaster of arrest authority that has changed from month to month, week to week, and at times from day to day. Officers, agents, and field managers expressed concerns that effective law enforcement and public safety have taken a backseat to attempts to satisfy immigrants' advocacy groups. We commend this committee's efforts to bring oversight to the activities of this troubled agency and unconditionally commit our resources to this or any future inquiries made by this honorable body. Thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of ICE employees. This concludes my testimony, and I will welcome any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crane. Mr. Crane, in a statement that or testimony that you made back in June 25th of this year, ICE union leaders issued a vote of no confidence in ICE Director John Morton. You state now that the ICE union remains more committed than ever in no confidence. Can you explain that in brief detail?
Yes, sir. I mean, I think there are a lot of issues that don't necessarily pertain to this hearing, but I think they're probably things that maybe the members should know. ICE is 208th in employee job satisfaction and morale. It's a horrific place to work. Retaliation is rampant. The treatment of U.S. citizens that work for that agency, in terms of my experience, is worse than what illegal aliens have ever alleged. I mean, literally, acting like bullies to females, pregnant mothers, putting children in hospitals, pregnant mothers. It's an ugly place to work. And Director Morton has done zero to make that change, to turn that around. It's just an awful place to work. Now, in terms of measures such as this, there's definitely a feeling in the field amongst our officers and agents that he does not have our back, that his intentions are not to create an agency with the intention of having stronger law enforcement, but instead catering to special interest groups. And if you look at practically every single significant enforcement policy that ICE has put out in the last 3 years, the union has been excluded from every single policy. That means our officers and our agents and our employees, they're excluded from everything. Performance-based detention standards alone, the agency's worked on for 3 years, but they've refused to bring the union in to bring our expertise to the table. So that, and the end result has been 3 years later, we don't have a performance-based detention standard. And the one that we do have is more dangerous, perhaps, than anything that we've had in the past. It places the lives of detainees at more risk, as well as officers at more risk, than our previous standards did. So we have a lot of reasons why we still stand behind that vote of no confidence.
Thank you, Mr. Crane.